and being able to up-level people who had a disability so that that disability almost becomes invisible through technology is a compelling reason.
So Mitchell, thank you very much for coming on the IFA 2023 live podcast. How are you doing today?
Yeah, all good. Excited. I haven't had a chance to walk the floor yet, so I'm going to save that. I wanted to make sure I was in good shape before we do this.
There's going to be a lot of walking. There's like 130,000 square meters of stands and halls. It's a rather large conference as far as it goes.
I'll make sure that I can record my steps today and hit all my rings.
Oh, that's the most important thing. What's the point of exercise if it's not being logged for your own consumption and joy later?
If it's not logged, it didn't happen.
Yeah. You behind a company called XRAI.
Yeah, XRAI Glass.
XRAI Glass. And do you want to give, for people who might not know what that company is and what it does, kind of a little introduction?
Yeah, so ultimately we empower people who are deaf or hard of hearing to engage in the conversations around them. And we do that using an app on a phone. And we up-level that conversation by using augmented reality glasses to allow the wearers to put these glasses on and in real time have life subtitled in front of them.
And how did you begin developing that technology, right? Because it sounds like it's out of a science fiction movie.
Yeah, so it's a story that's well told. And it was the genesis of it was from our founder, or one of our founders, Dan Scarf, our CEO, whose grandfather, Peter, who was, I guess, 96 years old a couple of years ago. And he was sitting around the Christmas table completely unengaged in the conversation because, like with most people his age, autologically his ears had started to fail him. And he was too old to be proficient in lip reading. He didn't have an appetite for a hearing aid, certainly not a cochlear implant. And Dan's like, you know what, this is painful to see my uncle, my grandfather, who I've been engaged with all my life, no longer being able to be part of a conversation. And thought, surely there must be a better way. We had some interest in the Microsoft HoloLens project. So we knew that there was technology out there. We then started to look at form factors and saw that actually nowadays the technology has moved forward significantly. And actually the form factor doesn't differ from a normal set of glasses. So we thought, okay, well, let's hypothesize what that might look like. We started creating a minimum viable product. It had lots of masking tape on it and sellotape if you look too close.
It's not a prototype if it's not held together by string and glue.
Exactly. It's like if you watch the old Star Wars films in HD, you can really see R2-D2 held together with glue.
With little bits of string on the ships coming in.
Exactly. And lo and behold, it worked. So a friend of mine, again, one of our founders, a lady called Jackie Press, who's we commonly call user number 0. We put the glasses on her, and she is profoundly deaf, with hearing aids in both ears. And the second we put it on her, she started crying. And it was at that moment, that was like that magical moment where we knew we had created something special. And then we just doubled down on that, and we developed it. We brought more people into the business, friends that we'd worked with over the years who had some very deep skills in machine learning and AI. And we've been learning, and, we're on that journey today, which has brought us to here.
And how many people are using XRAI glasses at this point?
Roughly,
of course.
Yeah. We're just about to hit 10,000 users.
Oh man, that's a lot of lives changed.
Yes, we get messages every day. I've never had a business where people are emailing you every day. Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for making a difference. Thank you for bringing my parents back into the conversation. It's pretty romantic.
Yeah. So how does it work then if there are multiple people talking? Because if I remember correctly, you kind of have a phone that picks up audio, and then that connects with the glasses, and then that basically uses AI to transcribe the text of the screen.
Yeah, so it uses beamforming, so very much like your noise cancelling headphones. So it will pick up the sound in the immediate vicinity, and all the rest of the sound around that is then excluded. So you could be in a very noisy environment. We've just been at a very prestigious deaf music event called Shine in the US, where the music was blaring, and we were able to have conversations with people if we were one-to-one. So, distance is a factor. Absolutely. If you're across the other side of the ether hall, we're not going to be able to have a good conversation.
Well, it's technology, right? Not magic.
Exactly. And that is it. Although it does feel like magic sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's all the best. There's the famous quote, the most advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, but
100%.
But you're actually making something, which is...
Yeah, but sound is our friend and our enemy. And how do we evolve? There's opportunities. Today we're fixated on getting the sound, cleaning it up, making sure that it's audible. But going forward, the next generation of glasses are going to have cameras in them. So then we can augment the visual with the audio. So I'll be able to read your lips, synchronize that with the sound that we're hearing to have a higher degree of certainty as to what you're saying. So then actually, as long as I can see your lips, maybe across the hall at the ether hall, I'll be able to tell what you're saying.
If someone's like shouting your name, you'll be able to pick it up.
Exactly.
And how interconnected do you think the hardware and software side of XRAI Glass are? Because obviously there's the Vision Pro coming out is looking like it's slowly changing the sphere, is kind of moving into the software side and supporting hardware like the Vision Pro part of the future plans, or?
100%. We mandated when we started this business, we are a software business, not a hardware business. The pace of change within hardware is rapid. With Vision Pro coming out, people like TCL with their Ray Neo X2s here, Rokid, there's a myriad of glasses manufacturers coming out, and the technology is changing. So for us to keep a pace of that would be too expensive. And there's people that do a fantastic job like Apple. So our job is to create the software and make sure that it is good enough that it'll sit across all of those platforms.
And on the topic of AR, VR, mixed reality, what do you think it is at the minute that's stopping kind of a wider spread adoption of the technology? Because you mentioned a lot of names there, a lot of interesting companies, but there does seem to be a little bit of resistance from the public, say, about maybe getting into the AR, VR world.
I think Apple coming to market will make a massive difference. I think applications, real life use cases, because VR, AR has always been exciting, or mixed reality, or extended reality. We got to settle on the name at the moment. But and just as a side point, that's the nucleus of our name. So XRAI is extended reality and artificial intelligence. That's how we came to the name. But I think going back to your question, that people come to market like Apple, developers creating applications, bringing that into the real world, making the metaverse real, will be a significant change. So I think that we will see, certainly with the release next year of the Apple Vision Pro, we'll see a seismic adoption.
And you think just through the technology itself, it's going to be that change, or will there need to be societal pressures coming in? Do you think just Apple alone is enough to make that change?
I think it's a really good question. I think one of the drivers that we see is diversity and inclusion, and being able to up-level people who had a disability so that disability almost becomes invisible through technology is a compelling reason. There's 1 in 5 people in the world are affected by hearing loss. Being able to give them technology that gives them parity with the rest of society is a compelling use case. And there are many, many more. There's, people who are visually impaired. There's people who are neurodivergent who can enjoy this technology. Even things like integrating ChatGPT into our platform, and someone who is neurodivergent who can transcribe a conversation or a meeting that they're in, and then being able to ask the app, say, hey, XRAI, can you summarize that meeting for me? Or hey, XRAI, can you tell me my action points from that meeting? Or, if you have a certain condition where you can't consume information easily, hey, XRAI, can you explain that meeting to me like I'm 12 years old?
Yeah, so basically technology is a great equalizer.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And that's really what it should be used for, right? Rather than to, make incredible amounts of wealth or divide, it should be something that brings us together and makes us feel more human effectively.
Technology with purpose.
Yeah. And if in an ideal world, as like a final question, what would you like to see in terms of technology helping us in 10, 20, 30 years' time? Where would you like us to be as a society?
I think that it would become ubiquitous, because today the form factor, you look at the Vision Pro, is very clearly evident you are wearing something. Mm-hmm. If it becomes invisible, for example, a contact lens, that would be amazing. Because what we don't want to do is to give people a label that they have a disability or a disadvantage. Actually, removing those barriers would be utopia for me.
Yeah, just a world where everyone gets along, technology becomes almost ambient, just something that's around us rather than any sort of marker.
Absolutely.
Oh, Mitchell, thank you very much for joining us today.
No
it was
problem.
A fantastic conversation. Yeah, I look forward to trying out XRAI Glass whenever I get an opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy building an ether.
Cheers.